What's up, college football fans? I'm Aaron Blades, and let's talk ball. In the last video, we talked about the problems with the transfer portal and NIL. And if you didn't catch that video, I suggest you go back and watch it. But in this video, we're going to be talking about the college football schedule, the college football calendar, the conferences, and all the problems that we have with these things. So let's start out with the playoff. So currently we have a 12-team playoff. That's what we had last year. But after the season last year, the Big Ten and the SEC were in charge of deciding on whether or not we were going to expand the playoff. And it seemed like both conferences wanted to. The Big Ten wanted to have a 24-team playoff, and the SEC wanted a 16-team playoff, and they couldn't come to an agreement. So we're back again with the 12-team playoff. But here's the thing. If they both wanted to expand, I mean, it's looking like the playoff is going to expand sooner rather than later. And to me, that creates more problems than what we already have, especially if we go to 24 teams. If we go to 24, that creates a bigger problem. 16, pretty much the same problem that we already have is that, I mean, the season is lasting way too long. Like, way too long. I mean, it's almost the end of January before the season is finishing. And the thing is that teams that are, the portal opens, the portal window opens, and that teams that are in the playoff are scrambling, trying to get pieces in the portal and also coach through the playoffs. And then you have the whole hiring and firing situation. I mean, just like this past year, for example, you had Lane Kiffin, who decided that he wanted to take the job at LSU. Well, his former employer, Ole Miss, was entering the playoff, and they basically told Lane, like, look, you can either take the LSU job or you can keep the Ole Miss job. But if you take the LSU job, you can't coach in the playoff. And I don't blame Ole Miss for that. But here's the thing. Lane was in a situation in which he had to make a decision at a time in which he couldn't wait until after the playoff to decide whether or not he wanted to take the LSU job. So he had to decide early, because if he waited until after the playoff to announce that he was leaving Ole Miss, then he wouldn't have been able to do the whole portal thing for LSU. And that's just a problem with the calendar. I don't know whether we should push the portal back into the spring, just like don't even have a portal in January at all, or I don't know what the answer is. But I mean, to me, it seems like the best case scenario is just wait to have the transfer portal in like March. Like, after the season is over, nobody has started spring practice. Like, let's say at the beginning of March, we have the transfer portal, 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it's going to last. All those players transfer, they get moved, they get enrolled into the new university, whatever. And then they're able to participate in spring practice at their new school. I don't see how this is. I don't see how we can't get this straight. All right, but the thing about expanding the playoff, if we expand the playoff to 24 teams, that creates like another week. That basically extends the season another week. And just this coming year, for the 2026 season, the 2027 playoff, there are like multiple weeks between playoff games. And the college football needs to be played every Saturday. That's the biggest thing, is that we shouldn't be having like 10 to 12, 14 days between games. Like that, college football is played on Saturdays. And college, I don't know whether if it's just college football doesn't want to step on the NFL's foot or feet, or what, but like having games on Fridays and Thursdays in during the playoffs. No, college football should be played on college campuses on Saturdays. And this is what I mean by that when I say that, is that I think the playoffs should not be played at all in these neutral sites until the Final Four. So let's say we have 16 teams in the playoffs. I think that the top 8 seeds should all get home playoff games. Okay. And then the second round of 8, 4 of those teams should get home playoff games. And then once we get to the Final Four of college football, then we can play it in Houston or Miami or Atlanta or New Orleans or whatever. But college football games should be played on college campuses on Saturdays. And I think that would be great for college football. I think having more home playoff games would be great for college football. All right. So let's talk about scheduling. We need, so just like with NIL and the transfer portal, we need some rules with scheduling. Basically, what I think that we need is we need a scheduling committee. We need a scheduling committee. Like, the conferences should not be in charge of scheduling their own games. Teams should not be scheduling their own games. We need a college football scheduling committee, and each conference needs to have a uniform way that they do the schedule. So what I mean by that is, previously, before this coming year, the SEC was playing 8 home games, 8 SEC league games. The Big Ten was playing 9. Now the SEC is also playing 9. But what I'm trying to say is, and what I'm trying to say is that we have 12 regular season games. I think 9 is a great number. Basically, is that each Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, and ACC school should play 9 conference games. Okay. Those conference games should be rotating so that you get to play every school in the conference every few years. And then we should have a committee that decides what are the other 3 games that that schools are going to play. I think each school in the Power 4 should play at least 2 other Power 4 games per year. So that means you're going to play 11 Power 4 games. 9 conference, 2 non-conference, and then 1. You can have one other game. And that can be a game of your choosing. That last game can be a game of your choosing. And basically why I'm saying that is because we have some of these non-con games, like Florida State plays Florida or whatever. We have Georgia Tech and they play Georgia every year. That leaves room for these rivalry games like South Carolina, Clemson. Those are non-conference games. So if you want to use your one game that you get to pick on a Power 4 team, then you'll just play 12 Power 4 teams every year. And the rest of the schools can play whoever they want. But you will play 11 games, 9 conference, 2 non-conference against other Power 4 schools, and then you get to pick your 12th game against whoever you want it to be. I think the season also needs to start in week 0 and not in week 1. Okay. And that each school should get two bye weeks throughout the season. And that way we have the week of Thanksgiving is still our rivalry week. The most interesting thing that I believe is that we need to completely do away with conference championship games, and that the playoffs should have automatic bids. What I mean by that is each conference, let's say we do 16 teams. Each conference, each Power 4 conference should get 4 teams in the playoffs. And what that means also is that there's one team out there, they're not in a conference. Let's force them to join one. Notre Dame has basically a free ride to the playoffs right now. As long as they're ranked in the top 12, they're in. Have you looked at Notre Dame's schedule? Notre Dame's schedule is a joke. Pretty much any good Power 4 team with Notre Dame's schedule is guaranteed to make the playoffs. I'm not trying to say Notre Dame isn't good. It's not what I'm trying to say. Notre Dame is a great team. They have a great coach, and they will make the playoffs this year. They will. But what I'm saying is that Notre Dame needs to be in a conference, and they need to play Power 4 schools like everyone else. It's just an issue that we have, is that all these scheduling problems could be resolved really easily. And that's all we need to do to make the whole strength of schedule argument goes away, right? If we have automatic bids into the playoff, the strength of schedule thing is not a thing anymore. Win your games, you're in. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave it a thumbs up, and make sure you hit that subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Peace. I'm out.